Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. James McAfee. I'm a physical therapist with MovementX and a lead instructor for AgeProof Your Body, which is a online exercise community for older adults. And today I'm going to be sharing a brief presentation about pain. Pain is an exciting topic, a very complex topic, but it's something that affects a lot of people in this country, and it's something that is widely misunderstood and mismanaged by our healthcare system. So I'd love to spend some moments with you today explaining pain and explaining a little bit of where it comes from so that we can help educate ourselves to make better decisions about our pain. So, some of our earliest understanding about pain comes from Rene Descartes and his Cartesian model from the 1600s. In this framework, pain is viewed as a message that goes from the essentially the body to the brain in response to some damage created by the environment, in this case, fire. So he believed that pain was a sensory experience where the mind and its feelings, thoughts, beliefs didn't really play a role in the pain experience. The mind and body were separate in this context. Pain is something that results from this sensory stimulus, and if we remove the thing that's causing damage, we remove the pain. So we can get away from the fire and immediately the pain will go away. We now know that it is not that simple. In fact, pain is not a product of the environment, it's actually a product of the brain. It's an output of the brain, not an input to the brain. In the definition from the International Association for Study of Pain, they mention that pain is a unpleasant sensory and emotional experience associated with actual or potential tissue damage. In essence, it's a warning signal that's made by the brain that our body needs protecting. Descartes was on the right track, but what he was describing was something called nociception. This is the sensory system that's involved with sensing actual or potential tissue damage, which comes in the form of a noxious stimuli. So that connects with the word nociception. The noxious stimuli can be either thermal, like fire, it could be chemical, like if you sprain your ankle and you have a chemical inflammation process happening, or mechanical, for instance, if you step on a tack. Those messages get sent to the spinal cord first, where it gets mixed in with all sorts of information, and ultimately then to the brain, where it gets mixed with even more information, your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. What matters here is that nociception isn't enough to create a pain experience. It's one of many pieces of information and evidence that gets sent to the brain, along with this longer contextualizing or conceptualizing that the brain does to potentially elicit a pain experience. Nociception is a very important system to have because it motivates us to change behavior and seek safety. So it's very survival oriented. It tells us to move our foot from the fire, to avoid walking on a sprained ankle too much, to keep a lookout for tacks on the ground. Nociception is part of this larger story. It's filtered and affected by all of these other sensory experiences and lived experiences that we bring to the table. This is also good news because we can use all of the things that we can use to keep our nervous system healthy to change our pain experience. So we can consider our thoughts, our beliefs, and our feelings and how they affect our pain. One of the most helpful analogies of pain is comparing pain to an alarm system, or comparing our pain system to an alarm system. So we have 40 miles of nerves that are running throughout our body and our brain that tell our brain about our body's internal environment and about anything happening in the external environment. Most of the time, the nerves are just buzzing along normally, telling us about our life, alerting us to what's important. One important note here is that all the information doesn't get sent to the brain and sent to our conscious perception. In fact, there's a lot of sort of background noise happening. For example, we can't really tell if we're wearing pants because our nerves on the skin of our leg, they don't transmit that information constantly. But if we wanted to double check that we were wearing pants, for instance, we could bring our perception to that and say, hey, yeah, I feel some fabric on my legs. Now let's get back to whatever else is important because I don't need to worry about that. The a lot of messaging happens, but we don't get alerted to it unless it's important. And one of the more important stimuli that we can get is these noxious stimuli. In this case, the nerves wake up, they activate the alarm, they rise above the threshold to create a pain experience, and then pain is created as an output of the brain. In this way, pain can be again looked at as a request for a change, either picking up the foot, getting it away from the fire, and avoiding walking on an injured ankle. We can also rub it, ice it, put a band-aid on it, things like that. That is part of the pain experience to motivate us to change behavior, because pain is very motivating. It's a good system to have because it keeps us out of harm's way. The question is, when you remove the noxious stimuli, does it still hurt? And the answer is yes. And that's where Descartes was missing the full story. When you remove the noxious stimuli, it may be the case that the sensitization still remains high. So this downward slope, returning back to a normal baseline of sensitivity and nerve activity, it happens gradually. And it happens gradually because it lingers. Pain might linger because our body needs perhaps more communication and warning signal to avoid stepping on an injured ankle, to let the body heal, to watch out, for further danger. And during this time of healing, it may be still pretty easy to trip up the alarm, but over time, we can make it back to baseline in our normal level of sensitivity. In about 1 in 4 people, something might activate the alarm and send the pain message, but the alarm system doesn't go all the way down. It doesn't calm all the way down. It stays sensitive beyond the time it takes for the tissues to heal. This can be uh, this can be present in some chronic pain conditions where the alarm system itself is sort of miscalibrated. The normal alarm system would allow for more movement and more kind of wiggle room before you hit a threshold. But in this case, you're at a sensitive level already, and there's less wiggle room, less room to move and partake in daily activities without triggering pain. The question is, why do the nerves stay sensitive even beyond the time that the tissues take to heal? And that could be due to a variety of reasons. A lot of it occurs in the nervous system, in the brain. So thinking about things like expectations and beliefs. If you've had failed treatments and you're not feeling hopeful for relief of pain, if you feel scared, you feel worried, these are things that can help or that can contribute to that uh, alarm system continuing to be sensitive. Stress plays a role. Decreased sleep and poor diet might play a role. Inactivity, physical inactivity might play a role, as well as poor social engagement. These are all behaviors and mechanisms that all tell this story of sensitization. Our movements and our healthy habits help us retrain our brain and our nervous system and our pain system to return to a normal baseline, to appreciate the nociception and the noxious stimuli and the important factors that keep us out of harm's way, but allow us to return to a normal baseline and a normal pain experience. So this is a little bit about chronic pain. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. And I'll hopefully have my email attached somewhere nearby for any comments, questions, or any additional feedback.